What's up, guys? I just want to say thank you for all of the love on the last video of the NSX. I'm still blown away with how fast this thing went at the track. And something else to realize is that this is pretty much a turnkey 8-second street car. We very well could have just drove it to the track and drove it home without the trailer, because the next day we actually drove this thing over an hour to Cooper's for his wedding and drove it back, no issues at all. So this car just absolutely blows me away. I am really glad to see that the K-Series is capable of throwing down that power reliably and consistently, and this car just kind of proves that they are capable, even though they're just a little 4-cylinder. So really cool to see. Also wanted to talk about something else just real quick. I mentioned in that video that you guys should go look up what the fastest NSX is, do some research just to double check that we are in fact the fastest NSX out there, and I did some of my own research as well. And in that video I mentioned that there is a tube chassis NSX out there that was built by Adam Sauratari. I don't know how to say his last name, but I'll throw a picture of it up. And that NSX is an engineering feat, and I don't want to discredit the car at all. It is amazing, but I don't really count it as a true NSX, mainly for the fact that they put the engine in the front of the car, which kind of defeats the whole challenge of this chassis being a mid-engine car along with the MR2s. So if they had the car built from the ground up as a tube chassis, cool, whatever, and if they kept the engine in the back, I would still consider that an NSX. Even though it was a full tube chassis car, not one piece on it is really NSX anymore besides the engine. They did still use the NSX V6 engine, but in the front. That's why I kind of consider this one the fastest true NSX in the world. There's a lot of levels to drag racing, and once a car becomes just ridiculously fast and there's literally nothing factory left on the vehicle, you got to stop and ask yourself what actually makes the car that I'm calling it. Because if you use that logic with everything, we could just build a tube chassis car and just stick fiberglass bodies of whatever we want to be the world's fastest vehicle, and just go set records every day. We could have a fiberglass Honda Odyssey body on a Pro Mod, we have the fastest Odyssey. Fiberglass body of a Camaro on a Pro Mod, we have the fastest Camaro, so on and so forth. It's almost like an RC car. You can just swap the body, but it doesn't really matter because the chassis underneath is the same. And that's just the point I'm trying to make with the NSX, and especially the MR2s, is that if you're playing around with that, it doesn't really count in my eyes. So being mid-engine car, you got to keep it a mid-engine car, and that's what makes the challenge that much harder. I don't care what power plant you're putting in it. I mean, if you can find a way to make a 2JZ fit in the back of an MR2 or a Lamborghini engine or whatever you want, as long as it's in the back, you still have those challenges to face with the suspension and everything like that. There is actually an MR2 out in Puerto Rico that has a 2JZ in the front of it, but it has a solid rear end in the car, tube chassis car. I don't know how much of it they cut up, and it actually does run 7s, but at that point, I don't consider that an MR2 anymore, because they defeated the whole purpose of why the chassis is hard to make go fast, and you don't see any other mid-engine MR2s running the times we are with ours. So just something I wanted to put out there, and either way, I love a fast car regardless, but I think with the MR2s and stuff, and the NSX, keeping the mid-engine and keeping the original chassis setup is very important, because that's the whole point. But yeah, feel free to let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this in the comments down below. Give you guys a quick update on the white MR2 over here. I've been busy scraping away at all of this old sound deadening, trying to get it all cleaned off of this back wall of the car here. You can see I got all of this cleaned up very nice right here. We just took a scraper and a hammer, and I've just been chiseling my way through this stuff. It is so thick. And then I took the wire wheel over there and just cleaned that up. So I'm about a quarter of the way done, but we still have a lot more here to do. I saw some comments saying I should try to put dry ice on this. That might help. For one, there is not going to be an easy way to dry ice the back wall right here with it being vertical evenly. That is going to be very difficult, and the sound deadening material is different from what we usually see. I don't even know dry ice will actually help it all that much. I think it would just become brittle and still crack off in pieces. I mean, it would definitely help to chisel it after it's been dry iced, but yeah, that's just going to be way too much work. So I think this is the only option here. The hammer and chisel has been working good. I've just been going through it, and then I'm just going to give it a final clean off with the wire wheel. This is a lot of work, but needed to get it done. So I'm going to keep on going until this is knocked out, and then Hayden can continue on the roll cage in the MR2 here. Well, after a solid couple hours of work, I finally got all of the sound deadening removed off of this back wall here. Still need some final cleanup, just probably gonna take some lacquer thinner and get all of the residue off of there because the angle grinder can only get so much. But it's all off of there, probably took off a solid 15 to 20 pounds. I have a plastic bag here filled with as much as I could collect. The rest got turned into dust from the angle grinder. That's probably a solid 5+ pounds there. And between that and the 2 pieces of metal, those are probably close to like 8 to 10 pounds. So considering everything added up, probably 15, 20 pounds total savings. So that's gonna help us since we are adding the extra bars with the new cage. Any weight we can get out of the car now, we want to try to do that to keep it as close to the same weight as we had before, because we were able to get this thing really, really light. But yeah, that is finally done, and we'll get that cleaned up, get some fabric over that later on, make it look nice, and we're good to go. So now Hayden can continue where he left off on the roll cage.
Close.
Not bad.
No, not for just winging it.
Repo also works as a tow truck.
It's great.
Dude, that comes so close to hitting the roof.
Oh, I know.
Like within probably a 1/4 inch.
It felt really close.
It was extremely close. I was literally sitting back here and I was fully expecting the roof just to scrape going in.
You know, from our specific measurements, it seemed like it should be all right.
All right, guys, today we're going to be doing some work on the red MR2 that one of you guys is going to be going home with if you bought some merch on our website. So we're getting this thing all dialed for whoever wins it, and we are starting with pulling all of this stuff out of the engine bay here, starting with the exhaust manifold, the intake manifold, and pretty much everything around the engine we are going to be replacing. We got a brand new turbo manifold for this thing, which we will be showing you guys today, and then we also have some other goodies on the way as well. But to start getting all of that installed, we got to get all of this old stuff off, and we're going to be updating this with nice new parts so the engine bay looks nice and fresh, and I'm really excited for this. We still haven't figured out exactly how we're going to redo the turbo kit entirely, but we're going to be doing a whole new turbo kit on this thing, because I don't know if you guys remember, but a long time ago when we first did the white MR2, I actually found an intercooler at PFI, and it is not the prettiest intercooler. It's pretty beat up down there, and we're going to be pulling all of that stuff out. We might be even doing a water to air setup in this thing, but we'll see as time goes. We still might just keep a normal air to air intercooler, but I know a lot of other MR2s run a nice simple water to air setup in the trunk. But maybe you guys can leave us some comments, and if you've entered to win the car, maybe we'll see what the majority of you would like to see us do as far as the turbo kit goes.
It would be like a heat exchanger on the water to air too, so you wouldn't really have to be topping it off with water all the time or anything. It'd be a good street setup.
Yep, we'd run it in the front with a radiator. You wouldn't have to be icing
like
it every time.
Where you
It'd be the same as the NSX. It has a heat exchanger in the front. You just run a pump and it constantly cools the air going to the intercooler.
So definitely let us know down in the comments what you guys want to see on it. You know, maybe give them some input on what they want the giveaway build to look like.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it's going to be going to one of you guys, so we'll try to make it as good as we can. But for today, we're going to go ahead and get all this stuff pulled apart, the engine here, and start getting her upgraded with some goodies that we got.
Nice and cleaned up too.
So Wyatt's been busy over here getting the exhaust manifold pulled off along with the turbo, the intake manifold, and a whole bunch of other little things. That's all down here. The exhaust is pulled off of the car, some coolant lines, all of that stuff we are going to be redoing, and I'm going to show you guys what we got going onto the red MR2. Our first piece is a brand new top mount turbo manifold, and this was actually made by our boy over there, Hayden. He actually whipped this thing together a few months back. Yeah, he's over there getting the floor done on the white MR2 right now. But he got this thing made a a while ago, and this has been sitting, and we have been waiting for this moment to get this thing pulled apart to get our new manifold onto the car. So we're gonna go ahead and get this hung up into the MR2 real quick, and he made this specific for the MR2 chassis because it is a pretty tight fit between the valve cover here and this back factory wall that goes to the trunk. So we want the turbo to sit right in between this gap right here, and this manifold is going to let us do that. Let you guys get a final look at that before we throw it on there. You guys know Hayden does killer work, so completely custom top mount manifold for the MR2. Came out beautiful. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thrown on there, and then we also have another new part going on the car. So we got the manifold on there, and to go along with the brand new top mount manifold, we have ourselves a brand new turbo. So this is the same exact turbo that was already on the car, but this one is just a fresh unit. And yeah, got Booster Boys on there. Fresh manifold, fresh turbo. And we don't have the bolts to get this all bolted up right now, but as you can see, she fits about like that. We're gonna have to reclock the turbo, aim it down to wherever the intercooler is going to be. And then we have plenty of room right here to run an exhaust down and out the back of the car. It's gonna look a lot better with the turbo sitting up by the valve cover than opposed to down where it was at, kind of tucked out of the way. So that is our first piece to the puzzle here on the MR2. We have a new intake manifold on the way as well, and a whole bunch of other goodies to come. So in the next 30 days or so, we're gonna have this car hopefully completely transformed and looking a lot nicer than it did. The outside is nice, and we're just making the rest of it
Match.
yeah. Got the main hoop going back in for what should be the final time, if all goes to plan here. So I just got that back wall cleaned off, as you guys saw, and then I also got a piece cut off that was left over from the tunnel still. This piece that went right over here. We had this piece that was still attached to that back wall. Didn't look very nice, so I got that cut out of there as well, and we're gonna make a nice plate to cover up the hole, but it looks much cleaner now. And Hayden's just getting that in, and that should hopefully be the last time.
Yeah.
That has to go back into the car. Got the floor hung up underneath there.
Yep.
Get that up into place and start getting everything measured out for the down bars.
Do these upper bars and stuff first, and then be able to drop it up and down. And the final thing will be like the door bars and the little kidney bar stuff. So it should go hopefully pretty quick.
All right, we just got the new turbo and manifold on the red MR2 here, and it looks so freaking good in there. That looks awesome. Had to run over to Ace Hardware, and we got some bolts because we were missing our bolts. Once we focus here, and we got some fancy Chevy bow tie bolts holding the turbo on. Didn't know they made those, but that's what we got on there.
That's what we're using.
Yeah, they're flanged at the bottom, so that's what's holding the turbo on. Some chrome bolts, just got those, but that fits on there really, really good. So Hayden said he's done a few of these.
Yeah.
Like, what,
So-
like 10 MR2s you said?
Probably a little bit more. I originally made like a K-series top mount just for the MR2s, and then it kind of like fit a little bit looser than this one does. And then I was trying to make a top mount for Carlos's all-wheel drive Integra, and I made one that fit even tighter than the original top mount. So I just made that jig into like my MR2 one as well, because it'll still fit like a pretty big frame turbo on it. Like this will fit like a 6870 with like a big compressor on it. So it'll still fit a big turbo, and it fits even tighter.
So for whoever wins it wants to upgrade, they can.
Yeah, like you
If
could,
they want to go real fast one day.
Yep.
So yeah, that looks really awesome on there. Looks way better than where the turbo used to be. And when you pop the engine cover, you know she means business. Turbo's right up there by the valve cover. Looks freaking awesome.
Yep, makes it a little bit easier to work on too, having the turbo right there.
Yeah, and it looks like we'll have plenty of room to run a downpipe off of that guy. We're gonna have to get it in between the wastegate, because we do need to get a wastegate on there as well. So then we'll have to go down through this hole right there, get a full exhaust on the car for whoever wins it, because we do like our hood exits, but we're actually gonna keep the exhaust out the back like a normal car.
Yeah.
We were even thinking about maybe putting like a Magnafuel resonator on it or something.
Magnaflow.
Magnaflow. I said Magnafuel.
Yeah.
We're used to big fuel pumps.
Right.
Put a fuel pump in there, you'd be all right.
Magnafuel fuel pump as well wouldn't hurt.
Right. Trying to make it just a good solid daily for whoever wins it. You know, not something too obnoxious, not something that's going to give you any issues.
But
Just
hop in it, have fun,
hop
and
in
it's
it. Yeah, turnkey, ready to go.
fast car, clean
Yeah.
car.
Exactly. The log worked great, but that just looks so much better up top there.
Oh yeah. Gotta get the money shot right there. Yeah, that is looking awesome. You leaving us already?
I'm leaving you already, dog.
Dang.
We'll be back soon. It's only
Yeah.
a week, and then I see you again, so.
Won't be too long.
Yep, we'll do SEMA, and then World Cup, and then we'll be right back here hot rodding with you.
Yep, people don't know we're going to SEMA until you just said that.
Oh.
But it was a last minute deal.
Yeah, it's gonna
Looks like we're gonna go to SEMA.
Yep,
First
we'll
time
be
for
there,
us. I don't know if, I'm sure you've been there before, but
I've been there, yeah.
we
quite
never
a few
have.
times.
So
Yeah.
if you guys are gonna be at SEMA, we will be out there walking around.
It's gonna be awesome. Yep, and you can find me at the PRI SEMA booth, so I'll be there doing my thing.
But for now, back to Colorado for a little bit.
Yep, for
Then
a
we-
minute and get stuff in
Then we
order
rendezvous with you at SEMA,
Yep.
then World Cup, and then back here.
and then back here. And we got a lot of projects to do, so
Yeah, we got a lot to get taken care of.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, see, it should fit pretty good once I trim out the extra that I allowed for.
Yeah, that looks
And get this like up on the main hoop, it'll follow these pillars really nice like that. So, pretty happy with that.
Looks good.
Thanks, my guy.
Well, boys, that is going to about wrap it up for today's video. We made a whole bunch of progress on the white MR2's roll cage. Hayden has been absolutely crushing it. He actually got both of the down bars ran on both sides there, and I'm very happy with how this is turning out. I was actually sitting in the car earlier just to make sure we have plenty of clearance around my helmet for when we go to add the funny car hoop, but we are right there, guys. We just need to add the dash bar that goes along here, this upper bar, the hoop around the driver, 2 X's on either side by the doors, and then tie in the main hoop to those back bars that go to the rear shock towers, and then tie everything back into the floor. And that's about it. This thing will be ready to go as fast as we could ever hope, and yeah, I'm really excited to get this thing back to the track and get this thing back into the 7s. And as you guys saw, we got a new top mount manifold for the red MR2 along with a brand new turbo, and we are going through that car, making it dialed and cleaned up and just making it really nice for whoever wins it. So remember, every $5 you spend on theboostedboys.com will give you a chance to win the red MR2 over here. We actually just came out with these 7-second MR2 shirts. These are available now on the website. I shouted them out in the NSX video. This is the front and that is the back, so if you guys want to grab one of these as well, these are brand new and they will give you a chance to win the red MR2 as well, or whatever other shirt or product you want to grab off of the website. Thank you guys so much. That is going to do it for today's video, and we'll see you later.